multifaceted creative journalist, actor, playwright, and seasoned public speaker who brings not just perspective, but depth through storytelling and lived experience. Of course, you should get ready for a compelling conversation that unpacks stigma, celebration, strength, and challenges on this show this morning. Now, Samuel Adeyemi is a multifaceted creative professional with expertise in journalism, playwriting, screenwriting, acting, MC, and public speaking. He's a graduate of the Uni Ilorin and also another degree in theology. He isn't just a creative media personnel, but also a minister of the gospel. Wow. Good morning to you, Samuel.
Happy to see you too, sir.
Good to have you in the studio.
Thank you so much.
There's a lot to talk about. You wear many creative hats. Journalist, actor, playwright, MC, and public speaking. How do you balance these roles, and which one feels closest to your heart?
Well, that's a question I've always have
Ask
to
yourself.
answer. No, I have to answer when people keep asking me and all that. Well, to go straight to the point, the one that really draws closer to my heart is that of acting. Yes.
Acting.
Yes.
So tell us about your creative journey. What inspired you to venture into creativity per se?
Well, I grew up from a very conservative family, and so I could say there's that natural restriction. When parents will just want you to just go to school and then, just be a graduate, particular kind of course.
Get a kind of job.
Yes, and all that. So, but for me, right from when I was growing up, I've always had that interest in being into the creative, space, filmmaking in specific. But, well, as an intelligent student, I had to find myself in the sciences. So I went through the science class, my secondary school, and then with the interest to study medicine. But so to say, I ended up studying human anatomy, do a medical course. But while I was in 300 level, 100 level, I got an opportunity to join a theater arts film company and all that. So I signed up for that, and that was how the journey started. So it has actually been an innate gift, but I got that liberty while I got to university. So while I was still in the secondary school,
the freedom came.
Exactly.
Platter, so
yes,
you took
yes.
it.
So I just took it, but something interesting happened 300 level. I wanted to quit to go back to study theater because the gift and the talent was so heavy on me. But thank God the lecturer advised me that of course I could still be in that field and also continue in the creative space as well. Okay.
You also do productions, movie productions.
Yeah.
So how do you combine these activities, being everywhere, and as an MC, movie production? These are tight schedules. Even one alone can take all your time. So how do you blend all this together?
It's about priority. So I take it part time as such opportunities comes. Okay, for example, if there's an MC job, definitely it mustn't fall during the time of my production. And then if I want to have a production, every other work ceases to stop. So I just prioritize everything.
Prioritize work on source. So when you tell your stories, how do you derive inspiration to actually tell these stories? And where do you get them from? Do you just sit and just write what comes to your mind?
Yeah, well, getting inspiration can be gotten from anywhere, but for me in specific, most time is out of experience, either because I read a lot. So when I read and then something sparks imagination and, I just get inspired that, okay, let me write a story about this particular aspect or this particular theme, or maybe a story about hatred, the reason why we should show love. So, it has to start from that hatred, you show those kind of, so it's mostly from people's experience as well, because I love to converse with people, have an intellectual conversation. So once they have the challenge or something, I pick it up and say, okay, then this issue has to be turned to a movie so that it's going to transform lives of people.
Okay, when it comes to calling, so many people believe you have to be on the altar for you to fulfill your calling. But so some other people do it through other means, especially in movie making. The Mike Bamiloyes of this world, they have actually done that. That you don't have to be on the pulpit before you pass messages across, before you preach the gospel. So is that what you currently do?
Well, okay. So I fit into both what's called place on the pulpit and also beyond the church walls. That's the word I love to use. Most time people, just like you said, people see calling as a mindset like, okay, everybody just have to stand on the altar to preach, and then
even music is a calling.
Exactly. And I tell people that you can even be in the banking sector, and then even as a minister there, you know, you can get to still speak to people to win souls for God's kingdom. You don't need to stand on the altar alone. There are people even on the mission field and all that. So I see my own beyond the four walls of the church. And there's something even specific I'd like to add. I don't just see filmmaking from that faith-based alone. I shoot faith-based movies, but I also write what people call the secular content, but it has to be moral-based. So I still know that that could also reach out to some people, and then from there also the gospel can still get to them.
All right, you dropped a production recently.
Yes.
So how were you able to navigate all that? Because some of the challenges people in that field face is funding. Funding comes first, and of course, getting the right people to work with you on sets. Yeah. So how do you get to do that and then not have issues? Okay,
as regards the funding or just everything?
Everything.
You mean? Okay. Well, film production is something that, well, it's collaborative. Sometimes we have to, aside from raising personal funds ourselves, through other means, like other things that we do. I also write. I write for clients and all that, both Nigerian diaspora. So when I have clients, of course, we try to save part of whatever it is that we see, and then we speak to some persons as well who could help us to, you know, collaborate and to achieve it. Like the house we use, it was given to us for free by a friend, a secondary school classmate. We've not seen for over about 16 years, but I just spoke with him that, okay, we need the particulars, and he said, okay, he's going to pay for it. So we shot for 5 days, and then that was how we were able to achieve that. And somebody also came to, you know, assist us from the camera, cinematography, and he did it all for free without collecting a dime. So it's more of collaborative effort. We speak to people, but sometimes it doesn't work that way. Sometimes it has to be a personal effort. So, but we just have to continue to push.
So, what's the title of the project you recently?
A Cold Day in Hell. A Cold Day in Hell.
A Cold Day in Hell.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you give us a brief overview of, you know? Okay,
the original title of that movie is from a story by one of my, I have a writers and team and a writing organization. So she wrote the story, her name is Praise Abraham. So when I read it, I saw that it's something that's so powerful, and then True Color was the original title, like I wanted to say. Okay. So there is a story about a young female who is a lawyer, and then she's from the law school. When they graduated, the next thing that happened is she was so close to a young guy who she felt they were just, you know, in the godly path. But unfortunately, at a particular time, she ended up discovering that the guy is actually someone that is a rapist. He has some secret things behind the corner. So it was until she got to the day of his birthday, and then she began to realize that there are a lot of things behind this guy. I don't say much of it. Maybe just get to...
I was about to stop you that you know, just let people go there, find it. Where can they find this particular...
On YouTube, YouTube, Smoga TV. SMOGA TV. SMOGA TV on YouTube.
Right, so you can go there, you know, get to see that particular movie right there. So, aside from that, moving forward, you know, what advice do you have for people who actually look up to you as a role model? They want to be like you. They want to achieve things you have achieved. So what do you have to say to them?
They have to know that, like the popular saying or the cliche says, there's no pain, no gain. You have to just know that you must pass through a particular phase of life before you get to that limelight. Even though I've not seen myself getting to that limelight personally, because there's always a greater goal to achieve, but there's a process, so they should endure their own process, and they should not compare themselves with anyone.
Now, lastly, let me ask you, how long have you been in this totally?
Okay, I could say maybe officially, or let me say professionally, 2016.
Professionally from 2016.
2016, yes.
Well, good to have you in the studio.
Thank you so much.
If people want to reach you for your work, how can they get across to you?
Okay, my phone number is easier to access me. Okay, so you can just reach me via +234 81 63 94 29 00 +234 81 63 942900. That's my WhatsApp and my calling lines.
Okay. One question before you go. I almost skipped that. Doing so many things. Sometimes people say, jack of all trade,
Master
of none.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes you can be jack of all trade, master of all, depending on your approach. So, what would you say to people who actually who have talent in all ways, but they cannot leave one behind? They just have to keep doing all. So, what would you say to them briefly?
In case if you're in that kind of position, you must be able to understand that. Focus on one that will lift others up. So once you focus on one that will lift others up, others are just meant to push the main one that you have. Or there's something that must definitely be dominant, no matter how good you are. For myself, I see myself as good in every area, but there's still something that is much more dominant. So dominate, stay on that, and then others will also rise.
Thank you, Samuel Adeyemi, for coming on the show this morning.
Thank you so much, sir.
That's been a wonderful session with you. Samuel Adeyemi is a multifaceted creative professional with expertise in journalism, playwriting, screenwriting, acting, MC. I can go on and on. He has so many skills, but then we have to go. Our time is fast spent on this show this morning. What a revealing and enlightening conversation it's been today on The Big Story. From the inspiring work of change makers to the brilliance behind the creativity. A special thanks to Faniro Ifeoluwa and Samuel Adeyemi for their insight, courage, and commitment to changing the narrative. Let's not stop at awareness. Let's move forward to inclusion, advocacy, and real change. Until next time, I am Samson Balogun, and this has been The Big Story on Daybreak Live Extra. Stay thoughtful, stay kind. Bye for now.